It is Friday. No, it's not. It's Saturday evening, and we're about to go and watch Silent Hill 2. Is it called Silent Hill 2? I think it is. Return to Silent Hill, it's called. I love the first movie. It's my favourite video game adaptation movie. I think it's the movie that gets closest to the feel of the game. I'm hearing really bad things about this from everybody that's been to see it. I don't know anyone that went and enjoyed it. But I'm here anyway. We're here to check it out, and we'll obviously let you know our thoughts. That's going to be really annoying if it's still there when we come out, so I might move. Or maybe we can get Darren to... Do you want to... There you go. We could maybe make Darren put his seat forward a bit when we get back. Anyway, yep, we'll check in with you in about a couple of hours. Hello, you may note it looks a little bit different. We are the next day. I've just come out a little bit earlier so I can sort of do a review because it's a busy day today. Darren and Isaac will join me in about 10 minutes when they're ready. Silent Hill, Return to Silent Hill. So for a little bit of context, I love the games. My favourite kind of games are survival horror, Resident Evil being my favourite, but I love the Silent Hill games. I feel they have a total creepiness, which... just the randomness and the oddness of the creatures in Silent Hill, I think it is just fantastic. I really enjoy the first Silent Hill movie. I feel that it is the best video game adaptation movie out there. I think the Last of Us series is fantastic with the adaptation, although the Last of Us 2 wasn't quite as strong. Anyway, Return to Silent Hill. So I knew before I went to see this that it wasn't very popular. People weren't enjoying it. They were saying it was awful. It's by the same guy that did the first one. It's like, what's going on? What's, you know, I'll go see it. Because sometimes I like movies that everyone else hates and vice versa. So, you know, different movies are for different people. Was everyone right? Is this movie shockingly bad? The long and short answer of that is yes, it is shockingly bad. But I wanted to be a little bit more constructive than just to say it's bad. So why is it bad? What's not bad about it? Because it's not all bad. Okay, shall we give we'll give the positives first. So I actually did a sin from Sin's Corner and got my notes out, as in my phone notes, in the cinema. I was in the back row. There was no one else in the back row. There were only 5 other people in the cinema, about 6 rows in front of us. So I wasn't disturbing anyone. I wouldn't dream of doing that. So anytime I saw anything that I felt noteworthy, I put it in my notes. So I feel that the look of the film was fantastic. I like how they depicted the falling ash. In Silent Hill, we switch between 2 worlds. If you've played the game, you will know. I felt like the transition between the 2 worlds was done really well. I thought the creatures, for the most part, looked fantastic. I loved especially the skin texture for most of the creatures. I feel there was a lot of attention to that. Now, I can't remember if in the second game the nurses shatter. They must do, because they wouldn't have put it in the film if they didn't, but it just... in the game, the nurses are like a scary enemy. They're quite hard to defeat. And in the second film, they're like... They may as well just be like... I don't know, they're not stabby, they're not achieving much, and he just like kicks or hits them and they shatter to bits and that's it. That certainly isn't how the game is. They're a more fierce adversary, shall we say, in the games. The little armless acid monsters, I don't know what other way to call them, that looked pretty cool. I was happy with that. Didn't think we saw enough of those. Now, is it just me, or was Pyramid Head too short in the second one? Pyramid Head is a very imposing, massive figure. In the first movie, I feel they got Pyramid Head so right. I was so impressed. He was terrifying. In this, not so much. I won't give away what they do with Pyramid Head in this, but what the fuck was that all about? They really should not have been doing that. Where we have a reveal, it's like, oh, come on, what are you doing? The story was completely convoluted. Now, I'm supposed to be talking about good things. Sorry, we've got The monsters I liked. The textures of everything I liked. The transition changes I liked. The cinematography I liked. The lighting I loved. The sound design I really liked. From a purely scientific point of view of filmmaking, I feel it looked really good. I know not everyone feels that way. I do. I have heard people mention certain scenes look just like graphics from the original PS2. I haven't played the remake of Silent Hill 2, just for context. I've played the original 1 and 2 from back in the day. I think in sections it was purposeful to look just like the game, to look like one of those cutscenes that we get in the game. I think that was a choice made by the director. I don't feel it was shit CGI. I think it was just meant to look like the game. The jerky movements of the monsters, which to anyone my age looked kind of Ray Harryhausen. It looked like bad stop animation. That's exactly what it looks like in the game. So all of that for me can be forgiven, because I feel this film concentrated so much on trying to look like the game that it forgot things like storyline, acting ability. So to sum it all up really succinctly, I feel it looked and sounded great. I had no complaints. Certain scenes looked like they were lifted straight out of the video game. So from a gaming standpoint, I was very happy. Kind of like, can I just say, the most recent Resident Evil, was it called Welcome to Raccoon City? It looked amazing, down to the way the zombies like recoiled, their shoulders did when you shot them, the way the characters moved. The set was just amazing, and the film was shite. This is pretty much most of the same. So first off, the first thing that really irked me was your man's wig that's in it. I mean, could they not have got a better wig than that? It was ridiculous. It was just silly. Various iterations of Mary. I think they thought they were being clever and that you wouldn't be able to piece things together, but everything was so ridiculously obvious. But then when you thought everything's so ridiculously obvious, then they threw stuff in that's like, what the actual is going on here? They made the story completely convoluted. They mixed up what they did on the game completely. We have a section where we have a male character who wanders in, and his girlfriend is in her house with a group of weirdos that are her friends. And when I say a group, I mean maybe 15 people, like lots of people. And they're obviously doing something a bit weird and cultish, and he walks in and they all walk out, and he's like, what the fuck's going on? And she says, oh, nothing, my friends just popped over. And he's like, they just popped over, there were 20 of them, and then it's forgotten about. And they never mention what cultish behaviour was going on in their living room. It was just, the acting was, there's at one stage she introduces him to a group of her friends. What was his name? Was it Sam? This is Sam. Hi, I'm Sam. And he put his hand, and it's like, fuck. And then there's at times when he like called her my love, and it just sounded so cheesy and just ridiculous. The dialogue was awful. You know, like in games, the voice acting doesn't tend to be that great. In video games, well, they seem to carry that across as well. The acting was shocking. I think the best acting in the movie was from a little girl. Other than that, honest to God, the story couldn't have been any more convoluted. Isaac went with his friend Stephen, who's a big fan of the games and who hasn't seen either of the movies. And they came out and he said, that was so shit. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. And he doesn't want to see the first one now. And I'm like, Stephen, honestly, the first one is good. I know some of you don't like it, but I personally, from a gaming standpoint, I think the first one does a really good job. Because, right, this, like, do you have to read the book or play the game to appreciate the movie? I would say that in the cases where there's a book or a game, you should, as a movie fan that has not read the book or not played the game, be able to go and watch that and enjoy it without needing the prior knowledge. They should be able to make something that for you as a non-gamer or a non-reader can enjoy, can appreciate. But if you are a gamer and you've played the game or you've read the books, there may be little bits of extra things that you get from the movie that perhaps people that are not aware of the material won't quite get, but it's not gonna confuse them as such. They're not going to wonder, why is that there? It should be put into the story in a way that makes no difference to the person that hasn't played the games or read the books, if that makes sense. I feel if you went into Return to Silent Hill and you'd never played the games, you would have no idea what was going on. So obviously the world's changing back and forth. We've got the siren going on. If you've played the game, you understand what's going on, why it's going on. Watching that movie, to my knowledge, there was never any explanation as to what was happening. You were just supposed to like guess. They changed so much of the storyline, which, okay, in the game's not particularly massively strong. The gameplay's good, but the storyline's maybe a bit weak. But the movie managed to make the storyline weaker. The ending, let her get on the bus, for fuck's sake. If you haven't seen the movie, you won't get it. If, you know, I'm not spoiling. If you haven't seen the movie, that's not spoiling anything. I thought, right, he's going to let her get on the bus, isn't he? No. It's just, it was bad, guys. It was not good. I'm going to switch you off and I'll wait until the other two have come in. This will probably be longer than it needs to be, but I'll ask them their thoughts. Oh yes, the first little monsters, the little spidery things that's near the start of this, if you've seen this, from underneath they looked like scrotums with legs. They did. I wrote that in my notes, scrotums with legs. Little scrotums. So yeah, if you go see it, look out for the scrotums on legs. Right, I'll switch you off. I'll switch you back on when these two come out into the car and they can give you their thoughts. Right, okay, hopefully you can hear us. This is just, well, we're on our way somewhere, so we'll have to drive. So you two will have to speak up if you're talking. What were your thoughts on Silent Hill?
It was crap.
For what reason?
The acting was horrible. The storyline was really confusing. The effects were okay. And all the plot twists were really predictable. And some of the plot twists were also really stupid.
Yep. I think I've pretty much said more or less that. What about you?
Absolute garbage.
You need to speak louder.
Garbage. They took a few ideas from the original film of the game, completely ruined them. They had the visuals to use, but they completely arsed that up. And if you took those little tiny bits and pieces out of the film, that film would be one of the worst films I've ever seen. It was absolute shit. The storyline was shit. It didn't make sense. It didn't flow. What they're doing here, why is it coming back, why is it called Return to Saturn? It was just like, what? So it's not to do with the first film, it's a standalone film about a guy who meets a girl who has an absolutely ridiculous conversation with about a coach pulling off. And then all of a sudden they're living in a house somewhere.
Don't you dare tell them too much of the plot.
All of a sudden, oh, it was just garbage. Start to finish, absolute garbage.
So I think all of our views is, apart from some nice visuals, like I say, I really like the lighting and I really like the sound design in it. Some of the like imagery in it I really liked. I like most of the creatures in it. Other than how it looked and sounded, there's nothing really redeemable to be said. And the acting was amongst the worst I've ever seen. But I think the main thing, the most frustrating thing to take away from it is it doesn't make sense. It's totally confusing. Nothing adds up. And you're just spent most of the movie going, eh?
The film finished like a pretentious rock video.
Yeah, it did very much finish like an 80s rock video. Yeah, right. I would agree with that. So yeah, there you go, there's our thoughts on Silent Hill, and with me being such a fan of the first movie, it was very disappointing to say that from the same director as well. I don't know what was going on.
No idea. He's probably got too many yes men around him going, oh, you're brilliant, go with that idea. It's like, no, don't go with that idea, it's shite.
So there you go, there you have it. Return to Silent Hill, no thanks. Let's hope for better things from the new Resi film when it eventually comes out. Someone has to do it properly. So thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See if we can find someone that actually enjoyed it. I'm doubting that at the minute. Thank you for watching. Over and out from Lisa.